The Siege of Paris DLC from Assassin's Creed Valhalla brought us two different armors. The Reaper's armor set, which we have already reviewed here in the channel, while the Wrath of the Druids expansion had a whole lot more armors. Some of them were just reskins of armors or outfits we had already seen in the Assassin's Creed Valhalla in the past. What is up, you damn beautiful gamers, and welcome back to Role-Playing Games. Why don't you take some time and subscribe to the channel while you're watching? I promise you, you will never lose your hair if you do so. Maybe like the video, that helps a lot, quite a lot too. Alright, that being said, let's get into the matter. While I show you how to get the armor, I'll be talking about how good the armor on the perks is, as well as discussing how historically accurate the armor is. You can get all of the pieces for this armor right from the beginning of the DLC. They are scattered around Francia. Although, most of them do require a key, they're not really that annoying to get, and to be fairly honest, you're not going to have that much problem getting them. But sometimes you will indeed have to fight a camp full of enemies, or stealth your way through to get to the key of the chest from that specific enemy. The way you obtain them, it's up to you. You can go guns blazing and attack the enemy camp openly, or you could just like stealth your way through, which is the approach that I like to take mostly. Not really in this one, in this showcase, but it is what it is. I'll still be showing you here how can you get every piece of gear of the set. The chest piece and bracers, you'll find them in Paris. The rest of the set is going to be scattered all over Francia. When we talk about the stats, it is undoubtedly one of the best, if not the best, armor set so far in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. For 2 equipped pieces, your melee attacks deal more damage, but consume more stamina. In numbers, you will get a 50 plus damage for a bonus stamina consumption of 5%. While you could call this thing a high risk, high reward, I wouldn't even say that the reward is much better than the risk. If you manage to actually land your light hits and you properly manage your attacks, you will never be out of stamina. Plus, if you're like me and you base your playstyle on Paris, you'll feel right at home with this thing. Secondly, if you get a full 5 of 5 pieces of the armor equipped, a bonus 70% adrenaline charge, and a minus 5% stamina consumption on blocks, shield blocks. So the stamina loss is at least at some extent being compensated in here. If you pair this armor set bonus with some adrenaline skills, you can be a freaking beast when it comes to open fighting. For example, you could pair this with the Adrenaline Fiend skill from the Bear skill tree, which increases your damage when you have 1 or more adrenaline slots filled. That damage boost increases as well when you have more filled adrenaline slots. So, essentially, the more adrenaline slots you have filled, the more damage you'll be dishing out with this thing. I have to say that in most cases, I don't really like the armor set bonuses in Assassin's Creed Valhalla because the RPG elements are really poorly implemented, but with this armor you actually do get tangible changes that you can use properly with a bunch of skills. So yeah, I would definitely say that this is one of the best armor sets in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It does comes with some risks for the reward, but like I said, you're not going to notice that 5% more stamina consumption. Well, damage, you actually are going to feel that. You're actually going to notice how much damage are you going to be dishing out basic damage with this thing. If you time well your attacks, you should be good to go. Maybe you have to worry a little bit about dodging, since that actually does cost a little bit more stamina. But other than that, you shouldn't have that many problems with stamina consumption, and you are indeed going to have much more damage. Now let's review the actual cosmetic looks and how historically accurate this thing is. There are many modern pop culture concepts we have already interiorized in a specific manner or differently than they usually are. Not really differently than they usually are, but there's a bigger picture about this stuff because Hollywood or other kind of media we normally consume portray stuff to us in a specific way. While it is not wrong, it does loses, like I mentioned before, the bigger and wider picture of the actual thing. Take the Paladins for example. When you hear the word Paladin, in most cases, you think of a full-plated warrior that fiercely believes in the power of divinity and the power of fate, dedicated and devoted to God and to protect the innocent and the defenseless. And yes, that is quite correct. Paladins used to do that, but there are many other depictions and variations of a paladin. The word paladin comes from the Latin Palatinus, which to begin with were riders of the imperial forces of the Roman Empire. knights, so to speak. In time, they became the enforcers of the Emperor himself, even above the Praetorians, and later, the Emperor Elite Guard. Some of the most widely known paladins from these descendants were the paladins of Charlemagne. There's literature texts as well from the paladins like the Chanson de Geste, where they appear, as well as historical records. While the paladins of the Arthurian legends are more vastly known nowadays, there was a time where the paladins of the French epic poems were much more popular. Now, since they descend directly from the Romans, there's another thing to have in mind about the armor. There were many armors that the Roman military forces used throughout history, and they evolved as time passed by, from leather coats to chain mails to brigantines and scaled mails. Nowadays, Hollywood made more popular the lorica segmentata, made by segmented plates. Although the elite forces at some point were mostly known to use scaled mails known as lorica plumata, which resembled a bird, and the lorica scamata. So it is highly likely that the paladins of the Emperor would use this kind of armors, just like the Paladin Armor from Assassin's Creed. It also has the Roman engravings on the shoulders, and much more of the armor has more modernized looks and styles to it, but it's still based on the original paladins. A pretty damn beautiful, accurate and immersive looking armor to use. By using this armor, like I mentioned before, it is a little bit more of a modernized, look to it, because it has to. I mean, using the normal wouldn't actually look that cool as this one, and my god, does this armor looks cool as hell. But yeah, actually it is quite historically accurate, this piece of armor that you have in here. But alright guys, that was all from me. Hope you liked the video. Hope you find it informative. Be sure to stay tuned for more of that. And remember to stay safe and stay beautiful. Remember, no one has told you today you're a damn gorgeous and beautiful person. Remember to stay beautiful, but most importantly, stay safe out there. I'll see you beautiful gamers in the next one. See you later.